Okay, using exponents to describe numbers is our first topic in our new unit, and this unit is all about powers and exponents. Okay, so definitions. We need to understand, well, what does a power mean? It's a number showing repeated multiplication. A power is when you have a number that shows us repeated multiplication. So do you know what I'm talking about when I use those words? 5 squared, because that is showing us to repeat 5 times 5. That's what it's doing. It's repeating that multiplication of that number. Okay? Coco, are you good? You with us?
Yeah.
Okay, the base is the what you repeat. What should I repeat? I should repeat the 5. And the exponent is the how many times you repeat. So the exponent 2 means to repeat it twice. So 5 times 5. I did it 2 times. Okay, and the exponential form is how we write this repeated multiplication. It's going to be how we write the repeated multiplication. And we will always include a base and an exponent. Okay, that sounds good. It's kind of the foundation. Repeating our multiplication, we always have to focus on our base part and our exponent part. So this first question says, can you write this in exponential form? So the base is, what are you repeating? A 2. And the exponent is, how many times did we repeat? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, the word evaluate, you're going to see that a lot. Evaluate this, evaluate this. It means figure out the number. So if I say something in math like evaluate 4 times 5, you would say that's 20. Okay, that's evaluate. So what is this as a value? And we're going to do it without our calculator.
30.
Oh, how did you do that so fast?
I did that like
Okay. So here's what you can do. 2 times 2 first is a 4. Times by another 2, 8. Times it by another 2, 16. Times it by another 2. Okay. I also want us to figure out how to type this into our calculator. Okay, so we have to learn buttons on our calculators for the future as well. So some people's calculators are going to be different. So let's see. so everybody, no matter what calculator you should have, you're going to start with a 2. Okay, so I am going to show you with 2 different calculators that I have.
Oh, I see.
Okay, so on this calculator, on my white one here, the button that I use for an exponent is this button, y to the x. That means exponent something 5. Okay? On this calculator, I have a different button. I have a button that looks like, I always call it like a little hat arrow.
Oh,
To the 5. Okay, so practice that. Everybody knows the answer. We should get 32 because we already did that with our brains. Okay, is there anybody, I'm going to come around and you can flag me down if you... Okay, so in these 2 examples, exponential form, this one should look like base 4 gets repeated 3 times. Check. Did you do that? Evaluate. So I'm going to figure this out, and I told you to try it without your calculator. So I would do this. 4 times 4 gets me to what right now? 16 timesing by another 4. This is 24. Boom. So then 64. Okay, B, you should have wrote base 10. That's the what's repeated and 4 on the exponent. Okay, when you times by 10, that's just how many zeros you're adding to your place values. So how many zeros should I have at the end of this one? 1, 2, 3, 4 zeros. So that would be a 10,000. Okay, this one is going to be kind of, can we do it without?
Yeah.
Should we try it? We'll do it without and then we'll do it with. I'm gonna, okay, let's see. Okay, start us up. 3 times 3, what are we at? 9.
27.
9 times 3, 27. 81, because also, did you know that once I'm here, I can really break this down into a 9 times a 9 as well, right? So 81. Okay, I might have to go over here on the side now. 81 times another 3 is 3 and a 24. So now I'm at 243. And I think we have to do one more.
Yes, I will. Yes, I will.
So now I'm at a 9, 12, carry, 7.
I did it in my head.
Okay, can you check into your calculator, please? Try it. Okay, Coco, can I get you to take your books and move here? Because you're doing a lot of looking everywhere else except for me and distracting people.
I socialized. I just did now.
Did anybody not, again, find that button in their calculator when they just did this? Tried it out? Guys, this one I said, you're good? Okay, so this is kind of a little bit of a chart. So the example of the power was 2 to the 4th, So to show you what it would look like if I expanded it out, you repeat 2 4 times. So that was 16 on the evaluation. Evaluate means get me the number. Okay, so what am I repeating? 6. And how many times should I go with the 6? Twice, which is 36. What am I repeating? 3. How many times should I do it? 4. Without a calculator, do you remember? 9, 27, 81. Okay. What am I repeating? 5. And I should do it 3 times. We're going to think about money. 5 times 5 is 25, like a quarter of money. If you had 5 quarters of money, you have $101.25. $125. Okay. Now we are going to talk about negative bases. Okay, so I'm going to show you something that I get very frustrated in my grade 12s. Still get it wrong.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, these are 2 different questions, completely different. They almost look the same, but not. I'm going to use my words to tell you what I'm doing. Okay, this one says, what is negative 2 to the 4th? This one says, what is the negative of 2 to the 4th? Do you see the wording difference?
It's like adding a bracket. I got my second one. It's like adding a bracket before the 2 and after the exponent.
So yeah, this one means what is negative 2 to the 4th? And this says what is the negative of 2 to the 4th? Do you see a difference in that?
First one's positive, the second one.
Okay, so this one has a base of negative 2, and you repeat it 4 times. Negative 2. So this is negative 2 times negative 2 times negative 2 times negative 2.
Yeah, it's a positive. The other one's positive. Yeah, no, this one's positive.
Okay?
Oh,
Versus this one.
this one's positive.
This is, what is the base?
2.
Just a 2. Repeat 4 times.
16.
Then multiply by negative 1. It's a bedmass thing, because what does bedmass say? If something is exponents, you got to do it before multiplication. So do you see a difference that I'm repeating negative 2? And here, the 4 is only repeating the 2. Okay, can I show you a different example too? Somebody's saying a so. Can I do one more example and then you can see if this so question still exists?
Got the negative.
These are different questions. What am I doing? Okay, so this one, what is the base?
2.
2m. 2m.
2.
And 2m gets repeated 3 times. Does that make sense?
Yep.
What does this do differently? What's the base? What's the base? Just m. And then this says to multiply, which happens after. So the application is this 3 repetition includes this and this. This 3 repetition is only dealing with the M repeating, not the 2 isn't included in the repetition. Do you see a difference in the format?
Yeah.
Okay, so this part is called a coefficient, which is a multiplier, which in BEDMAS is do it after.
Oh.
Okay, so my final answer on these, this one would actually be 8m cubed, and this would be 2m cubed.
So, yeah, first one.
Okay, I'm going to let you look at this, because some of you are still, I think, like, your brains are turning.
Yes, I got it. If there's no brackets, they're separate.
If there's no brackets, the 3 is not applying to the repeating on the 2.
Then it's
It's a
It's not
BEDMAS
doing the
after.
two.
It's not
just
doing
doing
the Yeah. And here, the 2 is included in that repetition.
So, do you get it? No. So, let's say there's brackets.
Okay?
Since there's brackets,
Stare at this.
I think I'm
so then it would be.
In there, is it making sense?
But here, it's
Okay?
2 to 3.
So here, I would say my base is 2m.
That's just a different thing. So
This one, my base is 2m, so I like repeat the whole thing. Here, there's a base of m. That's it. M is the only thing that's a base. And then there's a coefficient later of 2. It's a detached. It's detached from the exponent part. Okay? Big idea? Okay, ready. So we talked about this one. So evaluate, so this one says do the -2, -2, -2, and -2.
So it's negative because there's an even amount.
Well, actually, if I have negative, 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 4 negatives,
Oh, yeah.
I'm going to be positive. So I'm going to be positive 16. 2 times 2, I'm up to a 4. Another 2, I'm up to an 8. 8 times another 2, a 16. Okay, so what is different about this one again?
it turns negative after.
It turns negative after. So it's really a 2 times a 2 times a 2 times a 2
Oh, times negative.
times a -1 separated. It's not part of the repetition process. It's not part of it. Versus here, it is part of the repetition. Do you see a difference in the format?
Yeah.
Okay, so this is 16, but then what? Now it becomes negative. Okay, so what do you think here? Is this negative in the repetition or after?
In.
It's in. So what would it look like?
-4 times -4 times
-4 times negative times -4. What do you think at the very end? Positive or negative?
negative.
3 negatives. We already did this one on the other side. We had 16 times 4. Do you remember that value?
64.
64. What would you do to type that into your calculator?
-4 to the power of 3. All you do is press the little
Okay.
button.
If you're doing this, that's wrong. You have to put brackets around it. This is wrong. This is not the question that you're doing. Do you see that? I have to put brackets. So if you want that whole thing to repeat,
Is this good?
yeah, that's what mine's going to look like. Is that what yours looks like?
Yes.
Yeah. Correct with brackets. No brackets, it's going to come out. It happened that you would get the correct answer in your calculator on that one, but that's just by chance. What's that?
Lucky time?
You got lucky, yeah, but you didn't type it in properly. Okay. Ooh, this one has a few negatives involved. So now what? What am I repeating? -5. Can I cover this and just forget about it for a second? Can you just do this? -5 repeated 6 times. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Then, what does this in front do? It's not part of the repetition. It's a bedmass multiplier after. Not part of the repetition. Okay, I will let you use your calculator, but you have to first tell me about the positive or negative part of this. So we had 6. So now this is another 7 negatives. So we're concluding this would be a negative value. Are you going to type that in properly? So, do you understand this? These buttons are different. Do you have 2 buttons that look both subtract signs? They're different. What does this do? Negates a number, and this one subtracts a number. So I want to push this, I call it my baby negative, because it's small and this one's bigger. Negative, bracket, -5, bracket, to the 6. So the negative of -5 to the 6. And we said it was negative, so that should hopefully come out. Does anybody want me to type it again to see what it was looking like? Didn't quite. So that's. Okay, here we go. Show me what it looks like expanded first. I want you to do that step. Show me what does this look like repeated expanded. Expand this out. What would it look like if you were to write it long out? So I repeated -3 and a -3. That's good? So what kind of 9 value are you at? Positive or negative? Positive. So this question is a different math idea. So what does this look like if you were to write it out?
3 to the power of 2 times -1.
So 3 to the power of 2 is a separate thing than the -1 this time. So did you write it differently? Yeah, like this is just what you did, like that? That's good, because now your brain's really separating them like that too, yeah. So this is the repeated multiplication, and then this is what we call a coefficient, which is not involved until after. So did you write me a -9 this time? Okay, show me what this looks like. Expand it out. What would it look like?
-5 to -5 to -5 to -5 to -5.
No, negative.
-3?
3. Interesting.
Did you switch what you were repeating and how many times you were repeating?
I think give me 5 now.
He just said 5 instead of 3.
Okay.
Silly little
Yep.
I will give you the number value. Can you give me the positive or negative on it though?
Negative.
You're picking negative?
It's positive. What? It's negative.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5 negatives. Odd. Negative.
I already knew it was negative. I was right.
Okay, and what would this look like?
Negative 243.
So this one, right, is different. You got the concept? This is the negative 3 involved in the repeat. This is the 3 repeated negative afterthought. But guess what? They have the same answer.
Negative.
Okay, can you try those types in your calculator just to see? Practice that. So you have to make it look exactly like it is. This one has to have brackets. And this one you don't need brackets on. Can you see if we were right? Negative 243.
Negative 3. Yeah.
Or
Yeah, we're right.